So hi, this is Nick Williams. I'm sitting here with Sarah Alexander. Hi, how you doing?
I'm fine, thanks, yeah.
Great. So we're running an event together on June the 11th called Spiritual Intelligence in Coaching.
That's right.
Now Sarah, if you don't know, has written a book called Spiritual Intelligence in Business, and it's her passion and my passion to look at the spiritual intelligence side of coaching, and you've led the way with this to some extent. So what's your passion for this idea of spiritual intelligence in coaching?
Well, I think we've had a lot of very traditional coaching based on NLP and various other coaching modalities, really probably for about 40 years now, and I think there is a huge value in them, but I think now possibly it's time for a change in the way coaching is done, and whereas traditional coaching focused very, very much on goal setting and taking logical steps to achieve your goals and to get where you want to go and to really get out and make life happen.
Yeah.
I think perhaps there is another way of looking at all of this and saying, well, what actually is kind of meant to be happening in my life? What am I intuitively meant to be doing? I call this goal allowing rather than goal setting, so that you allow whatever is meant to happen in your life, whatever naturally is meant to be going on, to happen, rather than trying to sort of take charge and kind of force situations to be that perhaps aren't quite meant to be.
Right. So do you think a lot of coaching has been, I suppose the word would be ego kind of centred or ego driven, whereas spiritual intelligence is much more about a more innate wisdom and intelligence that we have within us?
Yes, that's right. I mean, I think it's very easy to think, well, I want to achieve this, and I want to be that, and I want to create that in my life, and that is all very well. But equally, there is a kind of universal plan that goes on in our lives, and that universal plan has ideas for us that really are very much in alignment with who we are as people, in alignment with the natural flow of our life. And my sense is that the more you can be with that universal flow, really things that are absolutely right for you just come to you very, very easily, and it is a much less stressful and demanding approach, this, because things literally just come to you that are for you to do, to be, to create, to have.
And I think for me, the bottom line is, when you're following a sense of spiritual intelligence or innate wisdom, actually you just end up happier.
Well, that's right. I think it's much less stressful, it's much less demanding on you as a person, and of course anything that you are innately guided to do or intuitively guided to do, you actually find yourself really enjoying it, and there's a much greater sense of fulfilment about it, and ease as well. And there is so much stress now, isn't there, if we can do things that create ease for us, and that's not a bad thing.
And I'm sure you've coached a lot of people, and I certainly have, who have set themselves kind of massive goals, and in many ways have been very successful, but then have gone, but it doesn't actually mean very much. It's all kind of toys and numbers, and I'm all for material success, that's not an issue for me at all. But it's about happiness, really, isn't it?
It is,
happiness,
that's right.
joy, loving the life that you've got, rather than always wanting something different or better.
Absolutely, yeah, that's right. And I think the difficulty is that many people do set goals because they think that when they have got this thing, they will be happier. And often they may well be successful and achieve it, but have the realisation that they are no happier, they need or want to have something else, always in this kind of constant, never-ending search for happiness. And the reality is that the material things in our world don't bring us happiness. It is very much
add to our happiness.
It can add to our happiness, but really our happiness ultimately comes from within us and who we're being as a person in everything that we do.
So let's just talk for a minute or two, just a couple of things people are going to get from coming on the day. So I know what we want to do is to kind of help people learn to listen to and trust themselves, and trust intuition and trust their own kind of inner guidance system.
Yes, most definitely there is that, and I think there are very clear spiritual principles that this coaching is actually based on, so we will go through those spiritual principles and also look at what are some of the beliefs that perhaps many people are holding that are a little bit alien to these spiritual principles, and can actually, in a way, not negate them, but kind of create some resistance to them, and often those sort of things need to be understood and clarified. And then from there, it is helping people to create a coaching environment and coaching sessions where they do access some kind of higher power to guide them throughout the coaching session. So that, as I think this is a phrase that you use, the coaching session is very much in collaboration between the higher power, yourself as the coach, and your client.
Yes, a holy trinity.
Absolutely.
Three of us.
That's right.
So anyone watching this who's not a coach, is it only open to coaches, or are we saying anybody can use
Absolutely. I think that whatever type of, be you a coach, a counsellor, some kind of alternative therapist, complementary medicine person, anybody
leader,
actually.
or just a friend or a
Yes.
parent, anybody
That's
who,
right, who
you
is
know, like
interested.
we all do, anybody who interacts with anybody.
Yeah,
really.
that's right. I mean, it's not really specifically aimed at coaching, and I think all of the tools and techniques that we'll be teaching will be valuable for life, really, not just for someone who is a coach. So, yes, open to anybody.
Brilliant. And our goal is it be, you know, for people coming, it's for their professional and personal growth, but also then to potentially teach what they learn to other people and pass it on, so that it is for your own personal and professional growth, but it's for you to share with the people that you interact with too.
Yes, absolutely, and really use as part of your sort of skills for life, as it were.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Anything else you want people to know?
I think, come along with an open mind is what's really important about it. It is slightly different from the traditional coaching approach, and perhaps for many people some of these spiritual principles are slightly different, but it just requires an openness of thinking to embrace them, really.
Right.
And they work for me, and I think they work for you.
Very much so, very much so. Yeah, I'd certainly find that when I try and push things don't work as much as
Absolutely.
being receptive, being allowing, and getting myself in the right consciousness place, I suppose.
Yeah.
And when I'm in the right consciousness place, when I'm happy, when I'm kind of happy with my life, things get added to it. And when I'm
That's
desperate
right.
for things, I tend not to be able to have them.
No, I totally agree with you, and it's the same for me. And I think perhaps that really sums up the course, is what we're teaching people is a level of consciousness that enables them to be very, very effective, not only as coaches, but also in their lives as well. And just an effective kind of magnet, really, to draw to them really great things.
Brilliant. I hope this sounds of interest to you. I hope you've enjoyed our conversation, even if you don't come along. But it's June the 11th at
June
Regent's College in Regent's Park. It'd be lovely to see you there. Thank you very much indeed.
Yeah, thank you.